Welcome to Mastercam course. In that lecture, we're gonna talk about cycling process. In Mastercam, it's also possible to create some G71 and G73 and the function. We can easily get that kind of actually G code. And of course, what is the advantages of that kind of code to get in our software? And as you know that, okay, let me create some wireframe here, and then I'm gonna mention about what is the advantage to get actually some function and the code in Mastercam. And as you know that if you create your the G code actually and by using the sum and the wireframe, as you can see here, okay, this is inches, I think. No, yeah, this is metric, and this is the 15 millimeters line. And then I can also create another line here. Okay, I can delete it, sorry. I can create my line and endpoint and endpoints here. You know that it's quite difficult to see your line, so that's why let's turn back to here and let's make that red, and then we can create our line like this, and then I can write my distance. Okay, we can also turn back to view, and we can also make that part unselect, and then we can see our wireframe. Okay, let's create another line here. It can be 25 millimeter, and then I can turn here, and then we can create here some degree and some distance. It's not important, of course. And then I can turn to line endpoints options to be able to actually get some horizontal line like this, and then I can make them axis offset 25. Okay, I can delete that one. And as a final, actually we can turn to the vertical line. We can start from here, and then I can click the origin because of the vertical side, so we can create that kind of line here, and then I can write my distance as a minus 15, and then I can turn to actually trim two entities options, and trim two entities where as a type I select the trim, and then I can click here and here. And after that, of course, we can turn to wireframe and some fillet here. I'm just gonna create some 20 millimeters feed rate here, and then I'm gonna hit the blue OK button, and then maybe we should also create here another fillet, and it can be 5 millimeter, and then maybe we should create some chamfer here. It can be 2 millimeters. Okay, and let's create some, maybe we should also create a little fillet here. It can be 1. Okay, let's create some actually toolpath for that stuff. Okay, I'm gonna click the machine, lathe of course, and default options, and then I'm gonna hit the rough toolpath of course here, and I'm gonna start from here and here, and then hit the OK button, and then I just need to create my toolpath by using the constant spindle speed with that feed rate, and then roughing it's the default settings. Just click OK button. Okay, at that point, if I am clicking on the G1 button, so we can easily get our and the G code to be able to send to our CNC to get that kind of and product. So at that point, actually, maybe when I turn to my CNC machine, and I can figure out that my step down, okay, is not good. So I need to change that. So I need to turn back to Mastercam and click the parameters, and then this is my actually depth of cut up and the parameters. This is the 2 mm, so I can turn to change that stuff here. Okay, I can make them 1. Maybe after the finishing process, I can also realize that my stock delay on the X 0.2 mm and 0.2 mm for the Z axis, it's not also enough. Okay, maybe it must be 0.5 mm or 0.5 mm here. So that's kind of stuff if you need when you turn to real life. So you need to turn back to actually Mastercam to be able to change that. Okay, so that kind of things is not so good because you are focusing on CNC and turn back to software and change to some parameters, something like that. But and if you would like to change all that parameters on your CNC, we can easily use Lathe toolpaths with canned options and canned rough options. I can click here and then we can select our contour, and then we can also select our cutting parameters. I prefer to use constant and spindle speed options, RPM. And then maybe we should also click here to be able to organize our and the reference point approach. And then when I can turn to channel canned rough parameters. So as you can see that's all about G71. Okay, this is the clearance position for X, clearance position for Z axis, and depth of cut. This is the parameter U. I can write here 1. This is the exit length. This is the retract actually position 0.2 mm. And then this is the stock to leave on X and stock to leave on the Z axis. Actually, we can easily use that stuff. We can also see here, there is some examples here. This is the actual NC output, depends on the post processor. So if I am writing 2, you can see that it changed with 2. Okay. So we can also use the lead in and lead out options here, but at that point we cannot see any degree adjustment parameter and parameters here. This is the lead in and lead out parameters. When I am click the plunge parameter, it's also possible to organize that kind of approach, plunge cutting on X axis, Z axis, or both of them options. It's possible, but according to my contour, actually I don't need that. Okay, when I am click here, we can also see some geometry options here. This is actually calculated according to my tool radius. So that profile is calculated automatically by Mastercam, because tool compensation is calculated by computer. We cannot see that because of my graphics card, but you can see that we can make them off. We can make them control. So it means that we're gonna get some and the toolpath compensation code in our G code, and then we can easily handle that stuff on my CNC. So I'm gonna prefer to use the computer. According to my tool radius, it's calculated automatically. So if you would like to change your radius, you need to click here. According to my process, of course, this is also my compensation type. Okay, I just need to click OK button. So actually we don't need that stuff. I just would like to share that and why we need that kind of canned rough and code in Mastercam. Okay, I just need to click here, and then we can easily get our G code. Okay, and at that point I also would like to emphasize that, and if you would like to use the stock options, you already know that we can easily use the stock options in roughing process. But when we turn to canned rough process, I mean that cycling and the C code actually, and we cannot see any and process here. Okay, there is no stock options here. Let me activate my stock first. I can click here. This is the vertical. I'm gonna click here and here. It can be 55 and it can be maybe 30. And then I can turn to stock setup here, and then properties and make from 2-point options. I can click here and here and click OK button. Okay, let me check what kind of toolpath we have got. It's the same. I just need to turn back to parameters and canned rough parameters, and then we're gonna see that extend contour stock options is active right now. I'm gonna click here to activate it, and then adjust contour ends options so it is clear. We can easily handle that stuff. Okay, I can click here and click the OK button, and it is calculated automatically. And then my profile changed automatically. But at that point, I'm gonna also mention about that stuff. There is another solution. If you can see here, there is some radius here. Maybe it will be better for us to extend our line. So to be able to handle that stuff, I can also turn here and then freeform, and then maybe we should click here 2.5 millimeter line, and line endpoints options and vertical options. I can start from here and then I can reach here. At that point I can turn to stock options, properties options, and then we can delete my stock options here. I don't want to use the stock options at that point. I can click the delete button. Of course, to be able to handle that stuff, I need to turn back to my geometry. I can click that chain and right mouse button and select the delete options, and then I can use the right mouse button again and add chain options, and then I can click here, here. All that line is not needed. Okay, I just need to click here and here, and then I can turn to parameters. You can see that this is actually not active right now, but we organize it automatically. Okay, there is another options to be able to set or handle that kind of stuff. You can extend it, or you can activate your stock and you can use the adjust stock options. Okay, at that point I'm gonna also mention about, and let's turn back to actually modify length options. Here I can, this is the actually and break options, and then I can write here as a 3 and then click that line. If I am clicking on that line, this line is extended like this. It's also possible to use the modify end line without using the break options. We can write -2 here. Oh, I need to turn to shorten options. That is changed with actually 2022. So I need to shorten options and then write my distance. Okay, and then I can turn back to my geometry again and delete that chain and add new one. At that point, if I am click here, there is another options. I can go to this way and this way. So I need to click here. At that point, there is no two options here. So that's why I can only click here, here, and here. Okay, it's activated right now, and let's recalculate our toolpath. Okay, I'm gonna hit the G1 button to get our the G code. It's already exists warning, and then we're gonna see our G71 options. Okay, this is the G71 options. It's active right now. I just need to change my parameters if I don't like my depth of cut and my retract and my stock to leave on the x-axis, my stock to leave on the z-axis. When I am turned to parameters options here, you can say that this is the 0.2, but when I am turned to here, we're gonna see 0.4. You know that this is the diameter, but this is the actually half of my diameter. So that's only care about and my profile. So 0.2 millimeters here and 0.2 millimeters for that stuff. So that's why we can see that's kind of differences in our and the G71 tool block options. So this is my profile block number with N, 100 and 110. So that's all my figure. Actually we can see that this is the actually vector approach while we are creating circular interpolation G2 and G3, I mean that. But we can also see some decimal number, but that's all okay. You know that's all the stuff because of the tool compensation stuff. Okay, if I am using the contour options, I can click here and click the OK button. If I am getting the my G code again, we cannot see that kind of decimal number at that point. It's active right now. Can you see that? Yeah, we can also see some tool radius compensation parameter and parameters here. That's one. This is the cancellation of the diameter compensation parameter and parameters here. And I also need to see here G42 for compensation for my radius. Okay, yeah, that's it. Actually, most of the time I prefer to use computer actually, because and that's, I think that calculation is and better. I can prefer to use that one. If you intend to change your profile, actually you need to turn back to your Mastercam as well. Okay, but if you intend to change your profile and between the dots block, it's also possible. You can easily change on your CNC, but at that point you should use control options, because my compensation type is calculated automatically according to my radius. If you would like to see what is the differences between the tool compensation process, you can click here, display profile options. You can see that difference is because of my tool radius. If I am prefer to use 0.4 radius or the different, and for example 1.2, of course it's gonna change because of my radius. Oops. I can click my parameters options and rough parameters, and then I can hit here. Okay, we can save that geometry, and then I can change my radius again. Oops. Okay, I can turn to parameters, and then I can click here, display options. Okay, this is the radius 0.4, this is the radius 0.8. This is the calculated automatically by actually Mastercam. Okay, you can also see the entry of my toolpath. Okay, thank you very much for listening to me. I really appreciated your interest. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me question. Okay, and I am also happy if you share that course with your friends. Thank you very much.